Hey, everybody. I am so grateful to start and launch this new series on leadership for the next 4 weeks. So thank you so much for watching this video. This is the first video for everything. And yeah, I just want to give you an introduction to leadership. So this all really starts with me asking my students. And so many times I ask my students, hey, are you currently a leader? And some people immediately say no. And then for some of my students, I ask them, hey, do you want to be a leader? And a lot of them also say no. So regardless if you want to or not be a leader, here's why I'm teaching leadership, because I truly believe that regardless if you want to be a leader or not, one day you're going to need to be one. One day you will have the opportunity to influence people. And actually, like, it starts now. And I believe right now everyone's a leader because you have influence over the people around you. So always keep that in mind. And yeah, I'm just so motivated and passionate about making this happen and continuing this great work in teaching you this really important life skill on leadership. So I believe that leadership plays a role in our every single day life. It's how you interact with your family. It's how you interact with your friends, your loved ones, and your peers. It's how you carry yourself. So here's something I wish someone told me when I was in high school. Leadership is not about having a title. Sure, there's certain people where when they get a title, they feel more empowered. I get that. But more so, leadership is who you are as a person. So if I know that to be true, my goal over the next 4 weeks is to help build your character, your personal character, so that regardless when you get this title, you're going to make a bigger difference. All right. Thank you so much. So 4 weeks, what are we going to learn about? So here's the vision. The first week, this week, I want to talk to you about your mission and your leadership style. Okay. Next week, I want to talk about the head, the heart, and the hands of great leaders. And then week 3, I want to do a bunch of scenarios where we talk about, hey, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in this situation, etc. And then for the final week, I want to talk to you about defining moments in your life in which you're going to have to make decisions. And those decisions will ultimately solidify who you are as a person and your leadership. All right. So I can't wait to share all this with you. Let's begin. So as we talk about your mission and style, I do want to give you an introduction, but I want to use pictures to help me illustrate what I believe leadership is and what I'm going to be teaching you over the next 4 weeks. All right, so here we go. So pause it here if you haven't seen these pictures already, but how do each of these photos represent leadership? Okay, pause it here and just think about it. How do each of these photos represent leadership? All right, so let's begin. So as I explain this to you, once again, I'm going to use these pictures as a source to kind of teach you leadership. This first one, you've probably seen it already. It's a very popular photo, but there's a boss on top and then there's a leader on the bottom. Both of them are carrying out the mission, but they're carrying out the mission differently, right? So bosses, they boss people around versus leaders, they lead people. They do the work alongside their people. Bosses sometimes direct people to do things while leaders coach them, right? Bosses instill fear, leaders instill confidence. We can do this. Bosses add weight to the mission, as you can see in this picture, and leaders help carry the weight. And then bosses know everything versus leaders are still learning, right? So many times I've heard bosses say, hey, well, I've done this 10 years in a row, and now it's your turn. But in reality, the best leaders know that they can get more out of their people as long as they help lead them and create the expectation, okay? Bosses know all while leaders are still learning. Bosses talk more while leaders listen more. Bosses focus on themselves versus leaders focus on others. So there is a difference between a boss and a leader, and ultimately I want all of you to become the leader, become a leader in your life. Now, is there a time and place to be a boss and a time and place to be a leader? Yes. You can't always pull the weight with your people, but ultimately, if you ask me to choose one of the other, I choose the leadership one versus being a boss. All right. Now, which one's easier? Being a boss. Okay, cool. Picture number 2. Let's talk about this. So this picture, I believe, tells a lot about leadership. Okay. The first thing I thought about was, as a leader, you've got to lead people in a direction, in a mission, in a movement. Okay. That's what leaders do. Leaders encourage others and they speak kindly. Now, have some people view people who speak kindly as weak? Yeah. But ultimately, when someone's leading me, I want them to speak kindly because that's going to encourage me to continue and to actually listen to what they have to say. Leaders have to stand out. As you can see, they have a flag and they're telling people, hey, let's go this way, in this direction. Leaders get the attention of the people you're leading. Leadership can be lonely. And when I look at this photo, I look at how the female leader is a different shade of color than everyone else. And that's because you have to be in order to be a leader, but sometimes it can get lonely because you have to distance yourself as the leader. That being said, I always tell people this all the time. And I've led big organizations with thousands of people. I've led those organizations. Now, because it's so lonely, you have to make sure that you have your people, your inner circle there to support you and to keep you on the mission. Okay, it's so important. My wife is that person for me. My family are those people for me. My mentors, my colleagues are those people for me. All right, so grateful for that. Number 3, this picture, person on the right side is what we're going to focus on. They always do what's best for their people. They always put in effort in everything. They carry weight. So sometimes like they'll carry the team. They stand up for their values. So many times society or just pressure from really everywhere is going to tell you to lead a certain way, but leaders, they stand up and they say, no, I'm going to defend my people. I'm going to help them out and I'm going to stand up for what I believe is right. They take care of the busy stuff. Ooh, this one's deep. So many times I feel like our members are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. They should be focusing on the mission. They should be getting the most out of the experience. So what do leaders do? They organize everything so that the members can have the best opportunities and the best experiences. All right. So they kind of defend their group. All right. Here's 3 more and then we're done. 4, 5, and 6. So pause it here and just take a moment to reflect on how you believe each of these represents leadership. All right, here we go. Number 4, picture 4. Leaders create new paths for others to follow. Take a look. This leader, I assume it's a person on the right. They're not even on the path. They're on a new path, and they're creating this new path for others to ultimately follow. Leaders are always thinking of the next step. I know we just started this 4-week series on leadership, but I'm already thinking about the next series. All right, because I always have to keep my mind open because I know that one day we'll be there. So I always have to look ahead. Leaders aren't afraid to try new things. Leaders should go first and they should take a leap of faith so that others have more confidence. When people see you go ahead, then they're going to want to follow. I love this one. Leaders should be the light of our world. Leaders shine bright for others to follow. Leaders have the duty to keep going even when others quit. So even when your whole team says, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore, leaders have to keep going. It's our job to keep going. Leaders are long lasting. As you can see, this bulb is a little bit different than the other bulbs. It's longer lasting. I don't know exactly what type it is, but I've seen them before and they're longer lasting and they finish the job. Even when everyone else quits, you've got to keep going as the leader. Picture number 6, even though leaders have accomplished a lot, I love this photo. This one's a power photo here. They focus on demonstrating their great work ethic. So take a look. So in this picture, we see a female leader and we see her shadow and it looks as if she's carrying a trophy. Even though she's been successful in the past, that's not what people want to see. People want to see you put in the work as well. And they're inspired by that. They're not inspired by people who have said, hey, look at all my accolades, look at all my awards. They're not inspired by that. But here's another way to view it. And one of my students brought this up today. Leaders understand how life tough can be. So they always try to view themselves in a positive light and with a can-do attitude. So another way to view this picture is, hey, maybe reality is you're that person, but you've got to see yourself as something bigger than you are. And that's going to give you confidence by viewing yourself positively and saying, I can do this. I know this task in front of me is super difficult, but I can do this. All right. So, hey, thank you so much for watching the first video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please continue and watch our next video on what type of a leader are you. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.